Hey guys, welcome back to the Messy Workbench. Today I am starting on something that I'm not entirely sure that I want to do. The design of this kit, I'll try and post a picture of it as well. I'm still learning how to do editing and whatnot. On this ship, at least on the model, there's this flat ridge that comes across, but this is actually supposed to terminate down here as a curve, and it's supposed to kind of like fade into it. It like bevels down into it. So I'm going to try and replicate that. It's weird. My hands don't look that dirty in person. I'm a mechanic. Anyways, so we're going to start doing that. And I figured I would start doing that before I replace all the phasers and whatnot. I don't know why I didn't think to start doing it before I spent all the time drilling out the windows. All right. I guess there's no going back now. Oh, that sounds horrible. think I'm struggling because my pencil lines aren't as straight as maybe I shouldn't say as straight, as consistent as I thought they were. Just tape it off here so I can actually see in comparison to both sides. Oh. Why did I do that in the first place? It's way easier to see. Alright, so I gotta come over a bit on both sides. No big deal. Okay. Got my work cut out for me. And surprisingly enough, I'm within reason there. Okay, just trying to get rid of the little fuzzies. Alright, so I'm going to use the same principle as when I make masks. That being, like, when you cut up the back of a mask, you want to put a round hole at the top of it to keep it from being able to continue tearing. So I'm going to drill a small hole here and a small hole here, maybe a little further back, I'm not sure yet, and then I'll just cut this whole section down these lines, and then I'll be able to bring this section down and fill in the area. In theory. So we'll cross that bridge when we burn it. So I don't want to make this cut the same way I did this one. Like I don't want to drill a whole bunch of holes and then connect the dots, because I really do want this to be as smooth as possible. So I'm thinking I'm going to do something for sure. I'll start with my scribing tool and then go from there. Be a lot easier to trust the process if there was a process to trust. I'm just over here not knowing what I'm doing. And I guess once you don't know what you're doing for long enough, eventually, you'll know what you're doing. Or at the very least, you'll look like you do. Feels like it's getting pretty well through there. Yep. Oh yeah. Come on. There we go. Wonder if that's I just want to make sure that it's cut all the way back to that hole. All right. Whoops. Well, in any case, you know what? Screw the process. That actually might make this easier. happens now. Yeah, why didn't I think of that? I should have just cut this section out from the get-go. That would have made life a lot easier. Because now I can just glue straight onto here. Or I could also just replace that whole section. So, I just got some, what is this? 080. Oh, that's 2mm thick. Well, looks like I got some extra meat. Now, I normally have a stash of 040 on hand. I'm not sure what I happen to do with that, but we can make do with this. It'll just be harder to cut. Just I'll clean that up some. I do want to make a template. I need to make a template because I can't eyeball that. Do I have any paper? Oh, this is actually just a thinner piece of styrene. Chop it down some. So the nice thing about mechanical pencils is if you are gentle, you can make your lead be like wicked long and get into the tricky spots. I just slid that back. That should be about there. And that should get me in the ballpark. So I carved out the whole area so that way I know how much I need to add. Just line that up. Now again, I'm just kind of making it up as I go, so I'm sure there's probably better ways to do this. And I'm honestly looking forward to seeing other people do this better than I did. There's only I'm not saying that there's not more people that have done this, but the only person that I've seen do this is Mistake Man. And I know I mentioned him before, but if you haven't watched his videos, they're definitely worthwhile. He also provided a whole bunch of 3D print files, which I don't... On one hand, I want to just link it in my account, but on the other hand, I don't know that... I don't know if that's frowned upon. Ideally, if you guys... Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just link the video that he shared them on. So... Alright, so in theory... Actually... I want to keep that around. And then, yeah. Not really looking forward to cutting this because it's so thick. I thought I had some .040, which is 1 millimeter. But this might work out better in the long run. I don't know. Cross that bridge when I burn it, I guess. I typically don't like to use Sharpies when I'm doing model work, just due to the fact that sometimes the ink will bleed through, but I'm going to sand off most of this anyway, so... Okay. I don't know why I dug that out. Since there's this tiny lip here, I'm going to get it up off the bench so that way I can get that to lay flat. I'm really just trying to tack it at the moment. I don't plan on this being the final glue up by any means. I'm probably going to back it up with some nail acrylic. Alright, we will come back to this later. Alright, so I gave it some time to set up, and actually while I was checking on it when it was starting to dry, I noticed that this piece was starting to curl. So I grabbed a piece of that material that I didn't know why I grabbed it, and glued it to the bottom of it, and that seemed to flatten it out. I also backed this area up with some nail acrylic, and that seems probably as solid as it's ever going to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue shaping this and see if I can get it back on today. That would be pretty cool. So that dental acrylic smells really bad, but I do like seeing that, you know, that at least looks pretty even. So that's good. Right. So I think if I just stick up like just a hair there. Weird. All right, so I just had, I think, yeah, I just had an idea. So in theory, if I tape along here and then along there, that should put me lined up right where it's supposed to be, which means I lost a little material over here. But it's just plastic. Can always add more. Not a big deal. I used to get really worked up and it was like, oh my god, I'm gonna mess this up, or, you know, like using the wrong sandpaper and putting huge gouges in it. And one day you just get to a point where you're like, you know what, it's really not that big of a deal. So I'll push that up. So my lines are good. Yeah, that looks like those will scribe through straight, which is all I really need. Some plastic in here to get it tacked down, and then once it sets, I'll start filling it in with more dental acrylic or nail acrylic. It's the same stuff. I mean, I wouldn't put either one of them in my mouth if I had the option, but I'm sure it's really just pretty much the same stuff. And if I'm wrong, I don't really care. I can't picture a situation where being wrong about that will affect anybody. Maybe use it at your own risk, though. Like, don't blame me if you eat it and then I get in trouble because you got poisoned. Anyways. So, I'm not sure if I want to fill these areas in with plastic or if I want to tape them off and then backfill them with dental acrylic, because sometimes the acrylic dries really nicely. Like if you do it right. But I guess that's kind of everything in life. But I guess we'll wait for that to dry, and then I think I want to wait to contour it before I actually fill those side pieces in. But I feel like it's coming out fine. Famous last words. So, off camera, which I'm sorry to say, I wound up filling in these corners with that nail acrylic. And so far, it looks pretty good. Surprisingly good, honestly. I do think I probably could have come down a little bit further. I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to blend it down farther. But I think I can live with it. Honestly, I could have lived with it the way it was. But I like to overcomplicate things. It's really what I do best. So, I backfilled everything with the acrylic. It's rock solid. I wish this stuff didn't smell so bad because it works so good. Like, it is such a good resource. You know, it dries fast, it dries hard, it doesn't shrink. There's a lot of things that I don't like to use, specifically because it shrinks. Like I don't really like using the Bondo spot putty. Honestly, I typically use super glue. The Gorilla super glue. I use that more often than anything because it doesn't shrink. And if I'm trying to fill something fast and do a lot of progress in one go, you can hit it with the zip kicker. That works just fine with it. The only problem is if you hit it with the zip kicker, it does kind of make it bubble a little bit. So if you have the time, if it's not a rush, then I would just put some of the super glue on it and let it sit, and it'll just kind of settle on its own. But if you're trying to build up thick areas, then by all means, blast some of that on there and just kind of smooth it out, and then do your own thing. So when I'm working on small areas like this, I don't really like to blast the whole thing with primer. I try and be a little more reserved in my approach, especially because like I already know I'm not done. I know this is going to need a lot more passes. Typically what I do is I just take some of this Tamiya liquid surface primer, and I will just kind of blot that on with a cotton swab. I just kind of dab it into my, I don't like load it up, but enough to actually fill it. I use it as an actual filler on its own, and I'll just kind of go over it like this, and then I can see pretty quickly what areas still need filler. I mean, I guess you can do that with regular primer too. It's not like this is like it's like some sort of revelation or anything like that, but it's just nice. And I don't like to because like the rest of the ship is going to need stuff too, so I don't want to coat the whole ship in primer and then try and glue stuff to it. But okay, so like I said, I just dab it on like that, and I'll probably fill that area in so it doesn't stand out as much. But honestly, this is looking pretty good for how little time I've spent on it. I honestly thought that I was going to spend days on this modification and then still be like, oh, it could look better. And like I said, I think I'm a little off on its placement, but I think it's better than it was. And it looks pretty good. Like I really thought that these areas was going to need a lot more filing. Oh, sorry about that. This side looks like it will need a little bit more filler, and the seam in general will need a little bit of love, but I think I'm good enough with it. Let's see. I think I'm good enough with it that I don't mind moving on to other spots and then just picking at this. Because I mean, I gotta grind all this off. I still have to grind in some more windows up here and along here. I guess the bridge itself actually comes out mostly. Like those windows on the two sides needs to get filed out. The bridge itself needs to at least be flattened out because I've got photo etch parts for that. But I was the most scared about doing this portion, and it was surprisingly easy. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and jinx myself and say the rest shouldn't be too bad either. So once this dries, I'll probably slap some super glue on that and then just kind of move on to other portions. There is a couple of like ridges, like there's these little ridges all over the ship. There's a couple that come down here as well, but I don't want to add those until I finish blending out this area. There's a couple of windows I gotta fix like that. I botched that one pretty good. Why did I ever botch that one good? And there's also one on the secondary hull that I messed up pretty good. Actually, I thought I really messed it up, but I guess I just kind of messed it up. It's this one here. But I still have to finish filing these out. I was just like, I was ready to do something different for a little bit. Even though I guess I'm still cutting, filing, sanding. Which I guess that's really what our hobby is. But I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. As Ray Stantz once said, that wasn't such a chore now, was it?